Racing games, specifically kart racing games. The one game series that comes to mind for most people is Mario Kart, since it's one of the most popular games series to exist. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe especially is one of the highest selling games of all time. With 96 different tracks, 42 playable characters, and still with hundreds of thousands of combinations with the kart customization system on top of that. But with all this, I still wouldn't call it the best. Mario Kart World was supposed to be the next step and be the best racing game yet, but it currently has some issues. Maybe you expect me to bring up Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which, yes, I am very excited for, but it's still not out yet, so I still can't call it the best racing game. No, the best kart racing game isn't either of those, nor is it something you can buy or purchase, because it is Dr. Robotnik's Ring Racers, a fan-made game made by the Kart Crew devs who brought you SRB2 Kart. This is its sequel, designed to be a lot more finished looking, focus more on player skill, and bring in a whole lot of mechanics that makes it one of the most complicated but satisfying games to play when mastered. And it's also completely free and available for PC. So what's so different about this compared to a game like Mario Kart? Well, there's a lot of in-depth mechanics to this game, so I'll cover them briefly to start. Aside from the basic stuff like accelerating, drifting, braking, and all that, the main mechanic of the game is rings. It's kind of in the name of the game, so they must be important. Rings are vital to doing very well in this game. You can collect up to 20 rings and also use them as a small speed boost. Since rings are plentiful across the track, you pretty much want to use rings whenever you can to gain an advantage. Although, you can also go into the negatives and go into ring depth. This means instead of using up rings, you'll instead charge a spin attack that can also be used to defend yourself from other racers and objects. But holding this attack will deplete your ring counter more and more, and if you go too far, then... Now this is a Sonic fan game, and Sonic can spin dash, so of course you can also spin dash in this game. The spin dash allows you to get back up to speed by an amount relative to how much you charge it up. This is useful in situations where you are stuck in an off-road or after getting hit. The stats of your character also affect how long the charge time and the speed distance you'll go after using it, but we'll get to those stats later. There are also trick pads that will be in certain places on tracks where after stepping on it, you will be required to hit a direction plus the accelerate button to then trick into that direction. Afterwards, you get a voltage, which boosts a few stats like handling acceleration as well as replenishing your rings. The effects vary depending on how well you time the press. These trick pads are some of the most satisfying elements in this game since they allow you to reach new areas or avoid them. And it just looks really cool too. This game has so much more mechanics and techniques that listing them here will take too much time. But luckily there's a tutorial in this game that goes through a short training course with both Robotnik and Tails, teaching you about the mechanics, which is pretty cool and charming. Just one notable thing about this game is that there is gravity, or well, physics. Sounds silly, but in this game you slide off ramps, slow down on inclines, as well as speed up on declines. This game is focused on momentum, so even though your character has a top speed, you can go as fast as you can reach, which means stuff like this is possible. So what does this game actually offer you to play? Mostly your standard kart racing stuff. There are time trials for single tracks, and a match race where you can set up a race on a track however you want, which allows you to practice on a track or just simply explore the track without any CPUs. And of course, there's Grand Prix mode. There's 30 cups to choose from in Grand Prix mode, and each cup has 7 beautifully made maps to play on. You have the option of selecting the difficulty of the mode, which for newcomers, I highly recommend doing relax or easy mode to get used to the mechanics of the game. Each Grand Prix has you race on 5 different tracks, and in between those tracks you get to do 2 Smash the Capsule minigames. You could just let the time run out and not do that many games, but firstly, they aren't really that difficult and they let you practice on aiming and hitting objects. But secondly, they also affect your total score at the end. Instead of having to finish first every race, the game actually tracks every lap what place you cross it on, and gives you a point based on it. It also checks how many rings you have at the end of the race and adds up everything to give you a rank. I think this is actually a really cool way to track performance, as it encourages you to always try and be in first to get a good score, as opposed to staying in the back to later finish in first. The reason for this scoring system is mostly to rank how well you did during the race. If you do well during the race and the minigames, then you'll likely get an A rank if that was all you had to do. But this game, being a Sonic game, also has one more secret that affects your score. Yep, even in this racing game, you get the chance to play through a special stage and collect the Chaos Emerald. At the end of the Grand Prix, if you earned enough points for an A rank on intense or higher difficulty, you get access to these stages. And let me tell you, these special stages are really difficult. In these special stages, you are on a track that does not loop and chasing a UFO that holds a Chaos Emerald. Your job is to smash the UFO and collect the emerald before finishing the stage. This is easier said than done. These stages will test your ability with the game's mechanics and items to be able to clear the stage. In the Grand Prix, you'll get a few lives or continues that you can use if you get a low placement in a race or simply want to retry a race, which also counts toward your rank at the end of the Grand Prix for every unused continue. For every 20 rings you end a race with, you will get an extra life, which helps a lot for these special stages because they'll be used here to continually retry the stage. This is where if you used a lot of continues to beat the stage or fail to, you'll actually be given a worse rank at the end. With completing the stage, you have the ability to score an S rank if you completed it without too many continues, and it will show up in the cup selection with your rank, the character you chose, and the emerald itself. As I said before, these stages are really difficult, and there's 14 of them. The first 7 when completed will unlock you the ability to replay these stages and the others without having to go to the Grand Prix to attempt them once you actually discover them. The next 7 you are actually collecting the Super Emeralds instead, and these stages are much more difficult than the previous. I'm still in the process of trying to beat them and they really test your ability, so don't fret too much with this minigame as it will require a lot of patience and practice to complete. Also, just listen to the music they have for these stages. It is absolutely one of my favorite tracks to listen to in this game. You may have seen throughout the gameplay the different items that you use while racing. As with any kart racer, there are your typical items that mimic the items from Mario Kart. You got your mushrooms, your bananas, your red shells, and even your blue shells. But in this game, they work a little differently. So the first thing you gotta know about this game is that you can actually choose what items you want from the item roulette. Yes, really. A lot of the skill-based gameplay comes from this feature. There is an option where you can change it to the normal roulette that's in most card games, but you'll be at a significant disadvantage doing so. When using items, whenever an item is an item that drags behind you, it will actually slow you down until you throw it. This means you can't just hold your item behind you to protect yourself like in Mario Kart. There are a lot of items in this game, so to keep this short, I'll go over each one briefly. The Super Ring gives you 20 rings when used, meaning any extra rings you use up will boost your speed. This can also be used to replenish your rings when running from an SPB. Sneakers are your mushrooms. When you use them, you'll get a burst of speed which can let you pass tripwire shortcuts. They can come in singles, doubles, or triples depending on what placement you're in. Orbinauts are like your green shells. You can get anywhere from 1 to 4 of them. They orbit your cart, protecting you from most things while also not acting like dragged items and don't slow your cart down. Bananas are, well, bananas. You can either place them behind you or throw them forward, which is pretty lethal when being hit by one. Jaws are your homing missiles that lock onto your opponents when thrown, but can also lock onto you if you throw them backwards. Before throwing them out, you need to wait for the lock-on reticle for them to home in, otherwise they'll just go straight and just crash into a wall. Landmines are exactly what you think they are, landmines. When used, it will bounce up and then be placed on the ground. It explodes whenever an opponent collides with it. Drop target, or the is a thing that will haunt your nightmares in this game, as whenever something or someone collides with it, they will be bounced in the opposite direction they hit it from, along with the speed that they collided with it. Whenever the drop target is collided, it will also move around a bit. They can only be hit 3 times and change colors before disappearing. The Eggman mark is like a fake item box, except that when someone collides with it, it will override any item they had and count down before blowing up the holder. When you or an opponent has the mark, your cart will run at top speed and you can also bump into another racer to pass the mark onto them. The Ball Hog is like a fire flower but explosive, where when thrown you'll send out an explosive bouncing bomb at people. You can also hold down the button to send them all out at once in a shotgun blast. The lightning shield works like in the games, where rings will be attracted to you and will also act as a shield for one hit. You can also use the shield for a close range shockwave. The bubble shield is one of the most versatile and annoying items a player can have. It prevents you from being bounced around and can also trap players for a while when thrown. When in the air, you can fastball and bounce forward, which lets you rocket forward if you fall from high enough. The Flame Shield is like a pseudo golden mushroom, where you can constantly use the shield for a boost of speed, which gets weaker and weaker the closer you are to first place. When you use the shield, you gain a temporary invincibility that can push objects away and also improves your handling the longer you are boosting. The Rocket Seeker is like a golden mushroom actually, as you can continually use the item for a boost until it runs out of fuel. The Proximity Mine is like the landmine but explodes when anyone is near it, and it is very deadly to racers caught in the explosion. The radius of the mine is quite large, so it can catch racers by surprise. The Garden Top is a useful but difficult tool to use. When used, you will be able to ride on top of the top and go in a straight line. You can press the drift button while looking in another direction to then move in that direction instantly. This is very useful to make incredibly sharp turns while knocking most things away. The High Hue The Ghost can be placed down on the track, and whenever an opponent passes over it with an item, it will take their item and bring it to you. You can steal any item at all, so if you are in the top spot, you can get some really powerful items this way. Grow will, well, make you grow in size, making you faster, bigger, and almost invincible. Aside from boosting your speed and handling, any items you drag or bring out will also be big and stay big even when you return to normal. Shrink doesn't completely act like Grow as when used. It will send out Pobies that will cover areas of the course with lasers that shrink players down when they come into contact. However, if you were the one to use the item, it will actually grow instead when touching the lasers. Invincibility is exactly what you think it is. You are made invincible to damage, have improved speed, and can seriously hurt racers when colliding with them. This actually has a small drawback, as while you are immune to damage, you can still get stunned briefly by hazards and missiles. And finally, the self-propelled bomb, or the SPB, or the... This is the blue shell of this game, as when it is thrown, it will seek out first place. But instead of it being pretty much a guaranteed hit, first place can actually outrun the bomb until they mess up. While in first place, this creates a tense but fun chase because the bomb actually prevents you from collecting rings, so you need to play really well if you do not want to get hit. The bomb also puts down boost rings for the players not in first, that'll boost racers forward and that boost goes stronger over Wow, that was a lot, but these items are what makes this game even more enjoyable and chaotic when racing. Well, let's move on, shall we? So let's talk about the characters and unlockables you can get in this game. When you start off fresh, you're only going to have a selection of 9 different Sonic characters, which are each placed to be the average of the stats. In this game, characters only have 2 stats, speed and weight. Speed affects your top speed and acceleration. For example, the higher top speed you have, the lower acceleration you'll also have, and vice versa. Weight affects your handling and also how easily you will be pushed around when you bump into other racers and objects. Aside from these 9 characters, you'll also be able to unlock 54 other characters for a total of 63 characters to choose from. Most of these characters are from Sonic, but a lot of them are from different Sega IPs such as Jack Frost and Aigis from Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. We got Ai from Super Monkey Ball, Billy Hatcher, Arl, Vector Man, and even Echo the Dolphin, which if you've never heard of the game, you should totally go look up a playthrough. You'll be in for quite a treat. But back to the characters. There are so many that you can pick from, and some of them I've even never heard of till this game. Along with the characters, you can also choose a companion to follow you around, and they also play a sound when you look behind you in a race. And on top of all that, you can even change the colors of both the character and your companion individually. And there are a lot of colors to get. So that's great and all, but how do we unlock them? Do you remember how you unlock characters in Melee? Yeah, this game essentially has the same thing. This game has a huge challenge board that as you play you will unlock more stuff. Some challenges simply have you beat a Grand Prix in the top spot, while others have you win with a certain character on a certain track. And others are a little more convoluted. Such as for Billy Hatcher, you need to destroy all the tables and chairs in Joyful Zone. Or for Flicky, get a no contest as a Motobug. or for Jack Frost himself, where you need to crash the game and then relaunch it. The companions also have different requirements to unlock them. The different colors though are a little different. In every track there will be spray cans throughout that you can go and collect. Some of these are right along the track, while others may have you go out of your way to collect them. But let's say you hated this unlocking method in Melee and already don't like this either. You just want to play with any character with all the different colors and companions without doing these challenges. Well, don't worry, this game has got you covered. In the options menu, you can type in a password that will unlock certain things, like all the companions or all the characters, or simply just unlock everything without having to play the game at all. These passwords are actually included with the game in a text file, so no need to look it up or anything. But you can also complete challenges by using Chow keys. Every mode you complete, such as finishing a Grand Prix or a time trial, you will also obtain a Chow key, which lets you complete a challenge if all the surrounding challenges are also completed or available to be completed. This lets you pick and choose which ones you want to complete or skip on doing, while still letting you complete challenges normally if you wish. Getting Chow keys will usually take a while, but luckily you can get one for each race you finish playing online. Wait, online? That's right, if you think this game couldn't get any better, aside from local co-op, you can actually play online with people. Before going into the details, listen to the music they have for the online menu real quick. You can either set up a room for others to join, or join another's room and race, or even play the battle mode depending on who and how they set it up. You have the option to make a room private and join a room via its IP whether or not it's public or private. When playing online, you'll have a ranking system like Mario Kart where you lose or gain points depending on how well you did. Online is another layer of difficulty. You play through the Grand Prix and win pretty much always against the CPUs, then you go online and get absolutely obliterated. So you've seen all of this and still think, well, I like Mario better than Sonic, so I'll pass.
It's me, Mario!
Yep, on top of all the characters and companions and other stuff this game has, you can add mods or add-ons to this game. And it is a really easy process since it's baked into the game. You don't have to download another program to put mods into this game or anything. It has very nice mod support. Just simply find any add-on you wish and then drop it into the add-on file, and you can activate it in the add-on menu, and boom, you now have Goku in the game. There's so many add-ons you can add into this game, so let me show you a few of the ones I stumbled upon.
Who is this? Venom! Yeah, just go off. You're gone!
But if you wonder how it's possible to make your own add-on or even include your own characters, then have no fear. This game also includes a cart maker where you can make your own by drawing sprites onto a sprite sheet and adding in sounds as well. This tutorial goes step by step on how to use it, so check that out if you want to make your own stuff. And yes, you can even play online with these add-ons too, but in a separate online mode so that players can play either the base game or with add-ons online. And that is all that I wanted to talk about for this game. As you can see, there is a lot that this game has to offer. There are still a few things that I didn't talk about, like secrets you can find by exploring the maps, or just simply talk about the music for this game, which are really great and is what you've been hearing throughout the video. But anyways, I hope that me talking about this game has piqued your interest. This is definitely my favorite racing game currently. At least until Crossworlds releases and I move all my time playing to that game. But until it releases, hope you enjoyed and till next time.